Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to clarify a couple things regarding immigration law. While my video channel is approaching 5 million views, and tons of thank yous and good comments, and appreciate the dispersing the information. Lately, I've received some negative comments from people who essentially they have no law school education. They're not attorneys. They have no experience whatsoever with the law, yet for some reason they believe themselves to be experts on immigration law. So I wanted to uh, let them know why essentially what they're saying is not true, and hopefully it will clarify their misinterpretation of their interpretation of what the law is. Now, we'll put into one category essentially what the comments are about. Of course, I'll take out the cuss words, and a lot of the people who leave comments, they're either racist or they cuss every other word. But there are some that actually don't do that, but they still um, come across with their interpretation of what the law is. So, under immigration law, this is what they think. They think if a person comes from another country and commits a crime, that they can be deported right then and there. That there's no questions, no issues, that Trump can snap his fingers and they can disappear out of the United States, that they have no due process, no rights, nothing, that they are aliens, they're foreign nationals, and therefore commit a crime, you're out. That's not the case, okay? This is not my opinion. This is not an attorney, twisting the facts or twisting the law. This is the law. The law says that there are all kinds of procedural hurdles, and there are all kinds of due process protections that foreign nationals are given. That when they commit a crime, that they may become deportable, meaning that they can fight their case in removal proceedings in front of the immigration judge. Um, they may become inadmissible, in which case there may be waivers that can be done. But the law, which is the Immigration and Nationality Act, in conjunction with the Foreign Affairs Manual, in conjunction with the Code of Federal Regulations, with cases from all the circuit courts, from cases from the BIA, from U.S. district courts, and so forth. They all form the basis of what the law is. Now, there is nowhere in immigration law that says the moment somebody commits a crime and they are a foreign national, that they can be deported. That does not exist. Okay, that is for those people leaving their opinion saying that's the law. That's not the law. That may be their desire. That may be their wish that the moment that some foreign national commits a crime, that they can be thrown out of the country. But uh, you know, while you might not like an attorney such as myself making a video on what the law is and why that's not possible, and why while you might like that Trump is trying to make it easier to deport people, the Constitution is also intertwined in the Immigration and Nationality Act, and so the INA, Immigration Nationality Act, so INA for short, um, was passed by Congress, signed by the president former presidents and so forth. There's many provisions. The whole Immigration Nationality Act, of course, has not been repealed. Of course, over the last 150 years, there's been different enactments. There's been different provisions. Some provisions have been made more difficult. Some have been made more, easier, and so forth. But there are, under the law, due process protections for foreign nationals. Now, let's ask ourselves, if what these people who leave comments on my other videos, um, if it were true that the moment somebody committed a crime and they're a foreign national, that they could be thrown out of the country, then why would there be any need for immigration courts? Why would there be any need for removal proceedings? Why would there be thousands and thousands of people in all the immigration courts in every state in the United States where they are fighting their cases? If it was so easy just to throw foreign nationals out of the country if they committed a crime, then that would do away with all of the immigration courts. And then, of course, from the immigration courts, they can appeal to the Board of Immigration Appeals. So that would also do away with the Board of Immigration Appeals. Okay. Um, and by the same logic, if the Board of Immigration Appeals was no more, then there would be no more petitions for review to all the U.S. district courts all across the country. Okay. Now, in addition to that, they have all kinds of waivers. Now, the waivers are written into the law. Okay, this is in the Immigration and Nationality Act. This is not something I'm making up. This is not a spin on what I would like to see. This is not something that has been repealed. This is in the law. And what a waiver is when someone is inadmissible for some reason or another. And since this video happens to be talking about crimes, if they're inadmissible based upon crimes, different types of crimes, fraud, whatever it is, then there may be a waiver that makes them eligible to come in. And the only reason the waivers were written in the law is to give people the opportunity to still stay here or to come here, even though they have a criminal history. If Congress did not want to allow that to happen, then they would never have written waivers into the law. If they did not want to give people an opportunity to fight their cases even after they've committed a crime, they would do away with all the immigration courts. They would not allow people to to file for cancellation of removal for lawful permanent residents. They would not allow them to fight for cancellation of removal for non permanent residents. They would not allow the asylum, Convention Against Torture, withholding of removal, adjustment of status, registry, criminal waivers, fraud waivers, health waivers. There's all kinds of stuff that's written in the law. We, the immigration attorneys, do not make this stuff up. We follow the law. So all of the people who leave comments essentially saying that we're twisting the facts, that we're just trying to keep them here, that the foreign national have no right to stay if they committed a crime, is pure lying falseness. Okay, if that's a word. Okay, it's not true. Okay, I want to give an example for so you'll make it clear to you, and this example is directed to those people who leave such comments. For example, in grade school, okay, if a kid does something that they're not supposed to do, what happens? Well, obviously, they are not just immediately suspended and expelled. Okay, they're not. The principal doesn't just say, "Oh, this child did something wrong. We're going to expel that child." Boom, and they're out. No, um, there's usually a meeting between the parents. There is discussion as to what was done. Sometimes the kid might have to go to detention. Sometimes the kid might have to uh, go to the teacher and write an apology, or to the other kid, whatever happened. Sometimes there'll be a suspension for a certain period of time, sometimes longer. And only in the very, very serious cases will the child be expelled. Well, it's the same type of thing. The Immigration and Nationality Act will allow certain types of crimes to go without even being inadmissible or deportable. Other types of crimes makes them deportable, but they can fight the case and they can apply for different kinds of relief. Other crimes yet do not allow the person to fight for certain kinds of relief, and makes them ineligible for most types of relief. Those are the very, very serious crimes. So they're it's the same type of thing. Just like, I am an attorney, but just like I am not a doctor, I'm not going to look and say, okay, well, the guy broke his arm, so therefore, all you have to do is this and that. I mean, I have no training in that. I don't know how to fix a broken arm. And by the same token, while those people who leave the comments can certainly leave their opinions, the ones, again, which state that anybody who comes into the United States commits a crime, the law says that they need to go out. Okay, it's just wrong. So if you want to leave comments on my videos, and they are against what I say, that's fine. But if there's a multitude of comments that come in that are swaying toward the complete swaying toward an area that is simply not true and complete total misinformation, it's my duty to correct it, and that's what this video is doing. So hopefully I've made it clear that when somebody comes into the United States, they have rights. The law affords them rights, and they have the ability to fight their case without just being thrown out of the country. Now, if you don't like that, then call your congressman and have them try to repeal the Immigration and Nationality Act so that that no longer happens. But under the law, as we stand today, people who come into our country have rights, have due process rights, and have the ability to fight their case in order to stay here even after they've committed a crime. Okay, more in the coming videos.